Hi guys, this is Nikki Rowland and I have a layout today for Hip Kit Club. I am using the June 2020 kits and I'm playing along with this week's recipe challenge, which you can see here. There's lots of things, lots and lots of things to include. So I had a list next to me while I was doing this layout and I just had to keep checking it to make sure that I had included everything on the list, and I had to keep referring to it because it was such a long list. So yeah, right, so I'm starting off with the rainbow paper, so that amazing rainbow paper from the Let's Stay Home collection, which is everybody is completely in love with, including myself. I have cut off the pink part of the paper. I do toy with the idea of putting it back on, but I have cut that off and I'm planning just to use the rainbow itself on the white background, but I wanted to put some mixed media onto my background first to make it look a little bit more interesting. Plus mixed media was one of the items on the recipe, as was using a white cardstock background. So I've ticked that one and I've ticked the mixed media box here. So I'm carefully working out where my mixed media should go. I've worked out the rough layout of the rainbow plus my photos, so I need to make sure my mixed media will show. So I'm just putting a bit of blue and a bit of pink, using the ink pads from the June colour kits to get a little bit of watercolour effect onto my background. I'm now just adding some splatters in the same colours over the top, and I will add some of the rainbows using the rainbow stencil in a moment too, but I need to wait for my paint here to dry first. So yeah, just that's literally all the mixed media that's going onto this layout. It's not a huge amount. As I say, I'm just getting ready to use my stencil and making sure my mixed media is dry enough to use it. While that's drying, I'm going to cut apart the rainbow stripes. I want to separate them out and then rough up the edges, distress the edges significantly because I like the way it looks. It gives a bit of texture, and I also plan to stitch along the stripes as well, because stitching is on the recipe challenge list. So the recipe challenge is stamping, punches, mixed media, white cardstock background, stitching, and 2 or 3 photos. So it's quite a list. It is quite a list. I definitely had to have that list sitting next to me, so I could keep referring to it to make sure that I definitely included all of those items. So yeah, I'm cutting apart my rainbow stripes at the moment, and there's a small amount of pink in between each colour, so I'm cutting that off. I'm leaving a small I normally leave a small white border, but in this case I haven't because it was pink, so I had to trim them exactly to size, which I don't normally like doing because I feel that having a border around something gives it a bit more, what's the word? It's a bit more flexible. It means that your mistakes don't show up as much. They're not as obvious, whereas if you fussy cut around something that's really intricate and you don't leave a white border, then every cut you see really shows up against the background. But if you leave a small white border, your border can be wonky in different places and it doesn't notice as much. So that's definitely a quick little tip there from me. Always leave a small border around whatever you're fussy cutting. Yeah, so spending some time on my rainbow stripes, I've cut them all apart and now I'm going to distress all of the edges just using my scissors, and then I'm going to get those stuck back onto my background, but I don't know if I can't remember if I do the stitching first, sorry, not the stitching, the stenciling first or not. Let's see what I do. So in order to get these stuck in place, I'm going with the white one first, and the reason for that is because it has a corner on it. So where I've cut it, it's got a corner, which means I can line it up perfectly with the corner of my background and get that stuck in place. So I'm just sticking it down with some regular tape, and then I'm going to add the rest of the rainbow stripes from there. So you can see that I have not done my stenciling yet. Obviously I'm going to do that in a moment. So yeah, okay, getting all of my rainbow stripes stuck in place, really simple, easy way to do it. Just line it up and go for it. So there we go. all sorted. Now I've got to figure out my photos. I had thought about bringing one photo down a bit, but actually I think going across the layout looks better. There's my list, I keep referring to it. So as I say, I'm going to sew through my rainbow stripes in a moment, but before I do that I'm just going to mount my photos, give them some borders. So I'm using a journaling card for the middle photo, which is a blue one, and then I use just a piece of paper for the other two. Here I am doing my stenciling, so I've using the same colours, so the blue on the blue, and I'm using the fabulous rainbow stencil and the ink pads and just a sponge applicator thing. I'm just rubbing gently over the stencil onto the mixed media, and you can't really see it on the video unfortunately, but up close you can really see the rainbow pattern appearing in those areas of mixed media. So definitely a nice little technique. It's something I've really enjoyed doing since we've had ink pads in the colour kit. I'm not really a stamper, so I don't have a lot of ink pads. Actually, that's a lie. I have loads of ink pads from like 100 years ago. Maybe not quite that long. Maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. I used to be really into a stamping company, and I used to make cards more than anything else. But now that I'm into scrapbooking more and have been for quite a while, stamping doesn't feature so much, and I've struggled with stamping onto my layouts. So I used to colour images with Copic markers, but I haven't done that for years, so my Copics are all probably dried out, but I still have ink pads remaining from those days. But anyway, I haven't used them for years, and then we've just been getting ink pads in the Hip Kit colour kits for the last couple of months, and I've really enjoyed using them, but not really for stamping, for other things. So for stenciling, really, that's definitely my favourite thing that I've done with them. Okay, so another thing on the list is use punches. So I've pulled out my favourite heart punch, and I've cut hearts in all the different colours that appear in the rainbow. So thankfully that other sheet of paper with the squares all over it was what I used. So I had great colour matches on that paper, so I just ignored the green one because there's no green in this layout. But yeah, so I just punched those hearts in all of those colours, and then I can layer them at various points onto the layout. So that is the punches box ticked. So I've done punches, mixed media, white cardstock background, 2 or 3 photos. I don't know if I've done my stitching yet. I can't tell from the video if I've gone off and done that already. Although as I'm building up the layout now, I think I have done. You just probably can't see it. So it's very subtle. It's just using white thread on the sewing machine, and I've just gone around the edges of those, every rainbow stripe. I've gone either side. Does that make sense? So they're just stitched in place, and up close it looks really nice. Extra bit of texture there, and looks very pretty. Obviously the white doesn't show up too well on the white, but it does show up on the blues and the pinks. So yeah, that's all good. Okay, so going back to my hearts now. That little orangey one wasn't looking, didn't have too much definition, so I'm adding a black border, and then I got carried away and did them on the black borders on all of the hearts that I punched. So it just makes them stand out way better with that the outline on. And then I thought I would carry on and do the title as well. So these photos are from Easter. So we spent Easter in lockdown, so it was just us. Normally we would have family round, so it was just us on Easter. So I figured the Let's Stay Home collection by Pinkfresh was ideal for these photos that I haven't scrapped yet. So my title is going to be Home for Easter, and I have used that home die cut from one of the Pinkfresh Studio, I think it's the Pinkfresh Studio one, maybe it's an exclusive, I can't remember, so sorry about that, but anyway, the title is definitely a die cut piece of ephemera, and I've just gone around it with the black pen as well to give it some definition. And again, you can't see it that well on the video, but it definitely does help it stand out more when you're looking at it up close. Yeah, I did the same with the 3 little hearts, which are definitely Pinkfresh Studio die cut ephemera, and also the little tabs that I have got here as well. I think they are from, did I punch those? I might have punched them. I think I did. I don't know if you saw me doing it on the screen. I missed it whilst recording this voiceover. But I have a tab punch. It's one of my favourite punches. So it's highly likely that I've used that punch as well to punch out those tags. And I gave those some definition as well with a black pen. So now I'm kind of in a position to start sticking things down. I'm happy with where my photos are. I'm happy with my little embellishment clusters. And here's the part where I cheated. So you can see over to the right hand side of the right photo, there's one of the little houses. Now that is stamped, and it's stamped twice. It's a layered stamp, so I've stamped the coloured parts, and I've got a different colour roof to the main part of the house. So I've got pink roof and orange house, and I've stamped those with the ink pads, and then I have stamped over the top with the outline stamps with a black StazOn. Actually it's dark grey, but I did that previously, so I've had those. I had a few extras stamped from a previous layout that I hadn't used, so I just put them in with my ephemera, and I've pulled it out to use on this layout. So actually I feel like I've cheated a little bit that way by ticking the stamping box in that way, because I have done that previously. I haven't done that today while I've been making the layout. So I do have to come in and sort that out, because I couldn't live with myself to having cheated. So I had to come in and add some extra stamping at the end. So I will do that as well. It's more subtle than the house. Okay, so I'm just sorting out my title. I'm working out where I should put it. I liked it at the top there, but what I didn't like about it is that it's over on the right hand side of the layout, and I always feel that because we read from left to right, I always feel that my title should be anchored from the left. So they should be more over to the left and have some space to the right, so that your eye naturally reads across the word and doesn't fall off the edge of the page. But on this occasion it did look much better up there than it did underneath, because it's blue over the blue section, and there's the blue clouds up there too, rather than over the pink section of mixed media. So I went with it at the top, even though initially it didn't quite fit right with me, but it does look okay. I am happy with it. It is the perfect place for it, because I'm also going to write for Easter underneath in the light blue rainbow stripe, so that works well. Okay, so I'm working out these bows now. So me and these bows have a love-hate relationship. I absolutely adore bows. They're one of my favourite things to go onto layouts. But these new style Pinkfresh Studio ones, where they're different shapes, and then the last pack they were all the same shape but they were different colours and had patterns on, this upsets me slightly. I feel that my bows need to be more of a solid colour, and these ones I'm thinking that maybe I would prefer them if they were just normal bows rather than the wonky ones. But it's okay, I'm embracing them. I'm going for it. I've used quite a few already. So this blue one is it's like a wavy bow, and it has a pattern on the wings, and then it's a solid blue underneath. So actually it reads as a solid, the whole thing. It's a good bow. It's not a crazy pattern, so I'm good with it. Okay, so I'm just carrying on with my embellishment. So I've just added a little ticket over on the right hand side that says, when you love what you have everything you need. So that is ideal. The little blue one that I've just stuck in there, sticker, says sometimes the little things are the big things, so that works too. Carrying on over to the left, I have the circle that says home life, and then the little star puffy sticker that says these are my people. So all of these things go really well with the layout that I'm making today. So yeah, it's coming on, it's looking good. I'm happy with how it looks. I just feel that I need to keep adding small bits and pieces, and I mustn't forget to keep checking back to the list. Have I done everything? Stamping, tick. Punches, tick. Mixed media, tick. White cardstock background, tick. stitching tick, and 2 or 3 photos tick. Excellent. I have done it, apart from the fact that I'm going to add some extra stitching at the end, because my conscience just can't cope with the cheating. So yeah. Okay, so just adding in for Easter now, and I'm using those beautiful Pinkfresh Studio little puffy alphas, the mini ones. They're so cute in lots of different colours, but I was aiming for blues because I've got the blue section of the rainbow up there. So I was aiming for blues, but there's only one letter of each, there's only one colour in each letter. So no, that doesn't make sense. There's only one letter in each colour. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's right. So because I needed to ease, I was going to end up with 2 different shades of blue. So therefore I couldn't just have all of them in one shade and then the other E in the different shade, because it would stand out and look wrong. So I've mixed and matched. So I've got several different shades there. I had the same problem with R's as well. So my rainbows stenciling don't show above my photos. As always with mixed media, you run the risk of covering it up with your photos and embellishments, so I just extended that out a little bit more with my stencil and my ink pad and my little blending brush tool piece of sponge thing. So I just had to extend that up a bit because I was really unable to see many of my, or hardly anything of my stenciled rainbows, and I definitely wanted them to show above the rainbow. I toyed with the idea of putting a pink cloud at the top where all the other clouds are, but actually no, it looked wrong because I've got a whole bunch of blue going on at the top there, yeah, just so no, definitely not going to do that. Now I'm bringing the oh, that's so cute, that little house. So that's one of the exclusive houses I did. This is not a stamped one, even though it's the same image as the stamp kit. It's in one, I think it's a vellum. No, it's not. It's a piece of ephemera. So that's just in one of the kits. So I just added that in, tucked it in behind one of my photos. So, and it was blue, so it went well with the blue area. So just writing in my journaling, which reads, not a normal Easter. It was very quiet, but the sun was shining, so we had a lovely day. And I have not included the date, which is very naughty of me. I must go back through my layouts and put dates on, because otherwise when I come to file them, I don't know the dates. Obviously this is Easter, so I'll probably be alright with this one, but yeah. Anyway, here is my stamping. So I say I couldn't cope with the cheating, so I had to bring in some extra stamping. I'm just using colour on colour again, so pink stamping on the pink section and blue stamping on the blue section, and I am using just a tiny heart that's in one of the stamp sets, so just to extend those 2 areas of mixed media. And that is me done. My layout is complete. That was a big list for the recipe challenge this week, but it's great fun. I hope you've enjoyed this layout. Don't forget to join in over on the Hip Kit Club group on Facebook. You can play along with the challenge there. And don't forget that if you are a subscriber to Hip Kit Club, you get the main kit at a reduced price, you get a 15% discount on all add-on kits, and you get exclusive subscriber cut files, which are awesome. So lots of good reasons to subscribe there. So head on over and grab your subscription. Okay, thank you so much. That was Nikki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.